In this video, let's set up the TK tools, which are the tools that I'm gonna use to block out my level. You don't have to use these tools, but I highly recommend you to use them so we can stay on the same page. So very easy, we just have to open the TK tools. It's gonna be in your extras folder, and there's gonna be an Unreal folder in there, and you wanna go to where your project is located, is installed. So on my Z drive, projects Unreal 5, project example, and then you go to the content folder and you drag and drop this here. That's it. And now they're gonna be available here. So we're gonna use those to build the level. Like, we're not gonna use these boxes here. We're gonna use this kit here. If you go to blockout kit and then mesh, you get a few objects here that you can drag and drop and wait for the shader to compile. And then you should see something like this. And then the behavior is going to be exactly like the other one. But you're going to notice that when you scale, they match the grid correctly. Those pieces, they are not in the right grid, but these ones that I made, they are. So the TK tools, they're a collection of different pieces. So for example, we have the cube, which is very useful when you can use for all kinds of shapes. There's a dome, you can use for this kind of shapes, cylinder. And if you notice, because I have the grid setting open here, anytime I drop a new piece, they're gonna be in the same grid, so you're not gonna have any problem matching them next to each other. But if for some reason, for example, you have the grid off, and this happens, and now if we enable the grid, they're not gonna match. They're off center. The way to fix this, you can just copy the grid location from the other piece. So for example, I click here, and then I can copy and then paste, and now they are in the same grid. So just keep this in mind. The next piece, so I have like a door. Oh, here's a good example. For example, I drag and drop and it's not matching there. We can just copy here, paste, and then copy the rotation as well, which is 105. So I'm gonna Control Z and then do 105. So now they are in the same grid, and then you can rotate and match accordingly. Next we have a ramp that you can use for roofs, or you can use for angles, like anything like this. Sphere. The wall is very useful for building interiors. So for example, we build the wall here, and then we can drop the floor. And then you can make interiors, and same with the ceiling, and then we can use the ceiling piece here. So it looks like the ceiling grid is not using the right material, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. If you go to the materials folder, you're gonna see a bunch of different materials here. And you can notice that they have few names, like they have wall and floor. So for the ceiling, you want to use the floor texture. This one is going to scale correctly. If you add the wall, for example, it's not going to scale correct. You see? This is a limitation of how the tools were made. So yeah. There we go. So just make sure that for ceiling and walls, ceilings and floors, you use any materials with the floor. And if you want to create different colors, for example, you don't like this gray here, you can click here, browse, Control D, and then you can just create, let's say, floor like brown. Oh, I already have that, so let's make a green. Double click the material, and in the tint color, you can use a different color here. And then save, and now drag and drop. So now you have a different color. So this kit is very versatile. You can make all kinds of things with it. And it all fits the grid. Like, for example, we can just use a smaller number here, and they're gonna fit perfectly. So this is how you can make a doorway, for example. And then you can play at any time. But when you play, it's gonna start from the position. And but if you right click, you can do a play from here. So very easy to build. Yeah, the last piece is the stairs. So if you are a more advanced user, you can totally create different pieces here if you want to extend this kit. So if you don't like the size of the stairs, you can just make your own and use the same materials. Or if you need different size of doors, like all that kind of stuff, you can just expand this kit and add the pieces that you need. The source file for these models is included in the extras folder, so it's going to be very easy to add more pieces. But that's pretty much how I build these blockouts. Because the blockout, I just want to build as quick as possible. And then later I'm going to convert this geo into real geometry. But for the blockout, you just want to be able to be very flexible and move things around easily. So see how they all fit? They limit you a little bit because of the grid, but you gain a lot more in reusability. Because look, that's how you can build in a modular way. Because later on I can just make a scalable wall piece that I can use for this. And then I can replace these pieces with modular pieces. But don't worry about that for now. Just make sure you get the pieces working and you can do this kind of stuff. You know, like just build some little rooms and get a good feel for it. And then this should be like more than enough knowledge to actually start building the map in the next chapters.